Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hope you are doing great. Happy Friday. Hope you are doing better than I am. I am a mess. No, I think I got up on the wrong side of the bed. We've all had those days. But forgetting about me and my getting up on the wrong side of the bed, uh, our faves, as we talked about yesterday. I posted, I think I posted the town and country one in our community page, and I didn't post the Archewell one. Shame on me. But, anyways, our fave was out and about yesterday. Well, not really out and about, but in their home office, as we can see in the back there. We see the background, and we know that is their home office because we've seen that before. But they were doing a video, or at least they did a video to present to the Safe Online conference in Colombia. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they are looking so relaxed and at peace and serene with their puppies. Obviously, we know this weekend is Memorial Weekend and also Remembrance Weekend. Yeah, Remembrance Weekend in the UK, hence the poppies. And someone pointed out that Harry is wearing the UK style poppy and Meghan is wearing the American style poppy. Of course, if a squatty didn't say that, I would have had no clue. It's just a poppy. And I didn't realize there was a difference until they mentioned it. And I was like, okay, good to know. That's my thing I learned new today. That the difference, because I don't know. I just saw a red thing on them and I didn't go further than that. So, but yes, our Faze presented this incredible, actually very, very powerful video. So hopefully you guys, the video was also on the Town and Country article that I posted on our community page yesterday. So hope you had a chance to watch it. And but it was great seeing them. Of course, we know, yes, the crazy narrative has been out there like, oh, they haven't been seen since they went to Colombia. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan were at the bookstore, the auntie bookstore, or the godmother bookstore together. They were at a tennis thing together that Archewell was one of the sponsors together. But if you ask the press, they haven't been seen since they went to Colombia. And it's just like, yeah. Anyway, and if you listen to the press, it's like, oh my gosh, they're separated. Oh no, they're having a divorce. Oh no, they already filed the divorce. I mean, it's just like, I'm telling you, it's like stupidity, all the stupidity that exists in the world, they all just sort of reside in the press, especially the British press. It is just ridiculous. But our faves are out there looking amazing, being and working together on an incredible, incredible cause. So I don't know if anybody had a chance. I did not get a chance to really be there and sit through the conference. So I know that a lot of it was live streamed. I didn't have a chance to do it. So I don't know if anybody else did. If anyone did, maybe let me know and maybe we can bring you on and you can share what you learned. But this, just in case you didn't hear or see the video that Harry and Meghan put out yesterday. Here is a little bit of it. I just did about a minute, just so that I don't run afoul of regulations. So here is a little bit about it. And
good morning, and thank you to both the Colombian and Swedish governments, the World Health Organization, UNICEF, and the Special Representative of the Secretary General on Ending Violence Against Children for bringing us all together today. The first ever ministerial conference on ending violence against children comes at a crucial time and, quite frankly, should not be required. But here we are. We are at a crossroads where the urgency to reassess and redefine our approach to protecting children has become increasingly evident. While the necessity has always been apparent, it is now time to translate that awareness into meaningful action. So we thank you all for your attention to this critical issue.
My husband and I recognize today's reality is marked by greater connectivity and advanced technology, which of course has many positives, but which also compels us to better understand how digital violence against children is manifesting itself in this age. And at the Archewell Foundation, we engage with young people, families, and experts worldwide, learning how every aspect of a child's life, from their livelihood to their physical and mental well-being now operate within an online economy that has the power to both shape and misshape our connections.
Good morning.
So that's just about a little bit about of what they said. It's actually about a 2 minute and something video. So yeah, it's about I would say about a 2 minute video. Yeah. So hang on one second. Yeah. So if if you get a chance, jump over to our community page, not now, after the podcast, and you can see the whole video. And if I get a chance later on today, I'll also post the link to the Sussex or Archewell Foundation's page, or just jump over to Archewell and you too can listen. But can I just land on just how amazing they look, and how, and not to be shallow or anything like that, but it looks so calm and so serene and at peace. And when people are just, they have that inner joy and sparkle. And so it's wonderful to see. I love that they're just like, okay, we're just here, we're just chilling, and we're just working and doing our thing and working for online safety for our children. And it's such an important message. But I absolutely love that. And this is a little bit more. This is from the Archewell website. And so again, if you get a chance, I will try to remember to post it in our community page, so that way at least you can read it. Or again, just jump over to Sussex or Sussex.com, and then you can just go to Archewell, or just simply go to Archewell Foundation, and you can also read it there. But a little bit about what it says on their side. It says, this week, members of the Archewell Foundation's Parents Network attended the inaugural United Nations Global Ministerial Conference on Ending Violence Against Children in Bogota, Colombia. And, this is for worldwide, not just for Bogota. This landmark event marked the first time the governments and leaders from around the world have come together to commit to accelerating Sustainable Development Goals 16.2, which is the ending all forms of violence against children. The conference addresses the urgent solutions and actions needed to create a world where children are safe and protected in their homes, school, community, and online spaces. And this is another little part of the article. It says, throughout the conference, parents from the Archewell Foundation's Parents Network shared their personal stories and highlighted the pressing need for action to combat online harm. During a key session, Brandy Roberts spoke movingly about the tragic loss of her daughter, England, and the vital work needed to ensure that no child suffers due to the dangers of social media. Amy Neville, who we spoke about, I think, a couple of episodes ago, Amy Neville and Kirsten Ryan, fellow members of the Parent Network, also contributed to the discussions during the event's Safe Digital Futures for Children, Tackling Online Harm Through Joint Global Action, which was hosted by Safe Online, the Brave Movement, and We Protect Global Alliance. Alongside researchers, government leaders, and survivors, these parents underscored the growing threat posed by digital harms to children. And the article is much longer, so definitely jump over to archewell.com, or if I post it in our community page, read it. It is very important. And they are doing an incredible job. It's just so amazing that Harry and Meghan, they introduced the Parents Network last year when they were in New York for Mental Health Week last year, October. Last year, October 2023. And to see where it is now, and they are really on the forefront of leading the way, or being part of a group that's leading the way to really ensure, especially safety online for kids and young adults. So amazing work. And I'm so happy again that our faves are just there quietly doing their work and not paying attention to the nonsense. But before I go, I just want to say hello to all of my friends in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. I did not even say hello to you. So hello, hello, hello. Wait, what? What? Church Nelly Chappelle almost got into a fight at the cancer center. White idiot telling an Asian nurse to go back to her country. Oh my goodness. Also said a Black and Hispanic patients to get out of white America. It has started. It has, well, not that it ever really stopped, but I am so sorry that you went through this, Church Nelly. This is terrible. And I mean, the sad truth with obviously the orange person now elected, this is going to be more and more and more. And if you haven't heard, one of my friends alerted me to this yesterday. Apparently, some very racist people were sending racist text messages to people about being slaves. Some other people will say, you know, what is it? Your body, my right, or something like that. Basically, that they have control over women's bodies, and you go into yes, exactly, racist. This is what my friend told me about this yesterday. I was like, oh my goodness, obviously it's starting. So Madwell says there are reports that Black students receive racial text, and yes, and so this has been reported yesterday. You know, the FBI also put out something about it, and they are definitely investigating. And again, stuff like this is to instill fear. Their power is if you're afraid. Their power, and which is a conversation I had with my friend who was telling me about this, because they want to get us afraid. They want us to be afraid. They want us to be like, oh my gosh, that's where they feel powerful. But as I told my friend yesterday, like, we're not back in the 1950s. We have strength, we have power. So don't back down. Don't run away being afraid, because that's what they want. These are very insecure people who know that they are not worthy. They know that they do not, and you hate to say this about people, but with their character, they know that they don't measure up. And so the only way that they could feel powerful is try to put people under their feet and make people kneel before them. And that's when you get to that place, then the issue is not mine, it's yours, isn't it? Because people who are secure in themselves and secure in who they are don't behave like that. They do not behave like that. And so, Church Nelly, I am so sorry that you had to see that and experience that. And so sorry for the people who had to deal with that mess. But I hope they put that person in their place and let them know that this ain't Jim Crow era. This ain't slavery. We're not there. Our ancestors didn't march and die and fight for us to go back there, no matter what they do. So we cannot back down in fear, because that's what they want. They want us to run around being afraid of them. And it's just like, dude, I'm not afraid of you. You can do what you want. I'm not afraid of you. So, yeah, it's just, yeah. And that's for me is, every time I sit and I speak up about stuff, I know that I am in jeopardy. I'm not hiding. And I refuse to be afraid. I refuse to give in and run away afraid of these people. It's like, no, I will not be afraid. I will speak till the day the Lord removes me from this earth. I will stand up, speak out, and confront it. That's my stance on it. So I hope that we all, if you ever encounter these things, they want, especially us Black women, to run away being afraid of them. And it's like, no, I'm not going to back down, and I'm not going to be afraid of you. So it just, yeah, unbelievable. This is where we are in the world. But I want to just encourage everyone, just don't be afraid. Whatever, of course, in those moments, there is going to be fear, of course. But don't back down. Face it, deal with it. So yeah. Unbelievable. Madwell said, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of this, of course, because they're emboldened. Again, we saw what happened during the first Trump's first administration. We saw that, and so yeah, it's going. Just know that it's going to happen. There are going to be people running around the world. I mean, doing stuff like this. You see them. I mean, I'm in New York, so you see this all the time. You know, people all of a sudden they feel emboldened to attack people. They feel emboldened, and they just expect that, you know, if they do that, everyone is going to run away from them. It's like, no, we're not back there. We're going to stand up and address it. So yeah. Let's see. Glenn says, we are educated and very intelligent. We work hard and do not need or want any from them. Exactly. We don't need them. You know, hello. So Madwell says, I've seen a video of a Black woman being verbally attacked by a man in a MAGA, and no one came to her defense. They just kept walking by. You see this as well. You see this as well. And I've always said, especially as Black women, the only ally we have in the world is each other. Literally. Some Black men will stand up for us, some won't. Some will join the queue against us. The only ally we really have are each other. So when we see situations like this, and I saw a video, so I don't know if it's the same video that you saw, but there was a video that was going around X yesterday with this guy, this white guy, getting in the face of this Black woman, and she stood her ground. And so when we see situations like that, where they're doing stuff like that, we have to back up each other, just stand up for each other and be there as a support, you know, and stand with each other. Because I think if we're trying to do it alone, then it's really, really, you know, it's difficult. It's really, I mean, it's extra difficult. It's hard enough. But when they see us supporting each other and standing with each other, it changes the dynamic really fast. So, yeah. So, Church Nelly, I hope there was some kind of a support there. I hope whoever that man is got his just due, that, you know, maybe they kicked him out or something. Don't know. So if you want to talk more about it, please share with us. So I hope that he was not allowed to just stay there and do that to you guys. So, yeah, unbelievable. Lakiva says slavery has been over. Seriously. And we need to make sure that we are behaving as such, that not go back to that massa bit and try to no. We are beyond that. We are beyond that stuff. So yeah. Hello, Mia. How are you? Mia saying hello to Church Nelly and Karen M. Let's see. Karen M, our awesome moderator. Karen M. Oh, here is Karen. Oh, that's not Karen M. Let's see. Let's see who else is here. Gwen is here. Hello, Gwen. I think I got one from Lakiva earlier. Karen Warner is here. Hello, Karen. How are you? Let's see who else is here. Joan. Auntie Jane is here. Hello, Auntie Jane. Joan Commonwealther. Val Rich. Hello. Who else is here? I know I missed quite a few people. I'm sorry. Helen is here. Annie is here. My goodness. Hi, guys. Church Nelly says security removed them. Yes, good. Good, of course. I mean, I would assume that would be the case, that they would come in and remove him. And so again, when they see people are standing up and not running away from them in fear, where they can, because that's the thing, they only feel powerful when they're afraid, when you are afraid of them. When they see us standing up and not being afraid of them, then what are they going to do? You know, I mean, yeah, there's some things that they could, and we hope it doesn't escalate into something violent or whatever. But when they see us not backing down and standing with each other and supporting each other, a whole new dynamic, you know, takes place. So yeah, so definitely let's keep supporting each other. And Church Nelly, I am so sorry again that you had to, I mean, goodness, with all the stuff people have to deal with, they have to deal with that mess as well. Unbelievable. Church Nelly says, I hope Trump deports the Latino men and women who voted for him. A lot of them may be, a lot of them may be on that list. So it just, I'm telling you, a lot of times we navel gaze in this country. So it just, I don't understand it. I don't, there's a lot of things about this election that I don't understand. I still, to this day, I will never, ever understand how this man was able to run for president again. I will never, no matter what explanations are out there, I will never understand how he even had, why he's not in jail, period, why he is still walking around free, and then have and then run for president, and now is the president-elect. I will never, until the day I leave this earth, understand that. So just never understand. So, but yeah. What else is going on? But anyway, our faves, back to our faves doing their thing. Definitely go over to Archewell Foundation, who are doing amazing things, and check it out. Really, really important work. And so I look forward to see what, some of the things that they're going to implement. The different governments, officials were a part of this, so it would be very, very interesting to see some of the things that they come up with to be able to especially protect children online. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. And then oh God, so we haven't really paid attention to Earthshot, because it's so funny, because I was and I'll tell you why I was listening to it in a minute. But I was listening to Chris Ship and Lizzie something. I don't remember what her last name is. From ITV. They have a podcast. It was called Royal Beat or something like that. I don't remember what it was called before, but now it's called something different. And then there is this Black lady that's part of it. And I think it's Charlene White, but I'm not sure if it's her. And again, I am not really interested in this. So I didn't take the time to find out what her name was. So anyways, Chris Ship was mentioning on there that he couldn't understand the scheduling of Earthshot, because why would they, of all the days or all the weeks that you could schedule Earthshot, why did they choose to schedule it right at the US election? Like, he couldn't understand. I don't understand it. And then again, Earthshot for me is a mess. So I don't, for me, that's just part of the mess. So anyway, so they just had their Earthshot Prize in South Africa. And one of the things that happened there, as I think we saw in Boston, is that they invite all these celebrities. And I'm like, well, what do these celebrities have to do with environment? I've never heard them talk about the environment. Maybe Heidi Klum has talked about the environment. I don't really follow Heidi Klum, so maybe she has, and I never paid attention. But somehow Heidi Klum and Winnie, what's her name? Winnie Marlowe, whatever her name is. She's the model. I think she has like vertigo is, what is it? Whatever Michael Jackson has, when your skin it starts fading and you have patches where you're lighter skin and darker skin, and I forgot what it's called. That model, Winnie I forgot what her last name is. But anyway, so Prince William invited all of those people to come to South Africa. And so, they put out a list before the event, I guess a week ago, as though all these celebrities, they were really celebrating. That they have all these celebrities going to be a part of it. Oh, thank you, Legs. Winnie Harlow, thank you. Very, very beautiful. I always liked her. I just didn't remember what her last name is. And yes, vitiligo. This is what she has. And she is, and I'm just so inspired by her, actually. And, some people might run away and be afraid. And she is just out there. She's been modeling forever. And it's such a testament to her courage. And for anyone who has that condition, and to see that, and to see her on such a big stage. So really interesting. But even more interesting in this sense is this situation. So Heidi Klum being a part of the ceremony, I mean, I'm assuming Heidi Klum lives in the US. Again, I don't follow Heidi Klum, so I don't really know where she lives, either in the US or the UK, wherever she lives. Heidi Klum was most likely flown to South Africa to be a part of this event. And again, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe maybe she has something to do with the environment. And then Heidi Klum is on the red carpet, and this reporter asks Heidi Klum, and you can't really hear what the reporter says, but you hear is, and again, please listen really hard because it's a little bit low, and it's the event is noisy, so you can't really hear what the reporter says. But listen to Heidi. I was gonna put up my volume really loud. So just listen to Heidi's response to when the reporter apparently may have asked her, how ask her pretty much about the event and what part she has to play in it or whatever. But this is what Heidi has to say.
First one you had, what did you kind of choose? I have to be honest, I had never heard of this before, and it was really when Prince William's team came to me and asked me if I would want to join and come to South Africa and nominate and be on the stage and spread the word about what this is all about, these amazing organizations and what they do.
That's right. Again, Heidi Klum said she had never heard about this organization until Prince William's team called her to come to South Africa. She never heard about them before. And it's just like, I'm like, and that's the one thing I love about this is that she was just so honest about it. She didn't pretend to know anything about them. She didn't pretend to know anything about any of this. She's like, to be honest, I never heard about them until Prince William's team called me to come to South Africa to be here. And she's like, and to present awards and stuff. And she has no idea. And as this is exactly what I was going to say. Lola says it was just another pay work day for them. This is exactly what I was going to say, because my thing is like, wait a minute. They're paying people to go there because there is no way Heidi Klum, who's a mom and has a career in whether it's the US or UK, wherever she lives, is going to trek all the way to South Africa for free for an organization she had no idea about until they called her. She is not invested in this in any way, shape, or form. There is no way she's going to go there for free. And now I don't have any evidence. I don't know. I didn't look at their financials for this. But I have to check their financials because I want to see all those other celebrities that, remember in Boston where they had David Beckham and all of those people fly in to Boston. I want to see how much they are paying these people to come and be. Because I'm like, are you serious? None, and there are a lot of like African celebrities there that I don't really know who they are. But I am like, even like this actress Nina Dobrev, who was in the Vampire. There was what is it? Vampire Diaries was there. This Broadway. Well, I think he's also on television. Billy somebody who was there as well. And it's just like, what is it? Billy Porter, I think his last name is Porter, was there as well. And it's just like, well, what do they have to do with the environment? Like, I've never heard of these people having anything to do with the environment at all. And somehow they all showed up in even Winnie Hollow. I'm like, they all showed up in South Africa. And my thing is, every time I look around, or run into something, is William with one of those people. I still don't even know who the winners are that was supposed to be the stars of this event. I have no idea who the winners are. But all of the press has basically gone to the celebrities that he's there. And I'm like, are you serious? Lex says, did anyone see the video with them talking about where they should sit so the cameras can get a shot of them? W is literally paying celebrities to be his friend. Yes, it's so funny you said that, Lex, because here it is. Here is here are screenshots, and I don't know who owns the video, so that's why I'm not posting it here, because I don't know if there's a copyright issue, but I have the sound. But here is here are snapshots, and the British press have been sort of promoting this as William sitting there with Heidi Klum and Winnie Harlow, and Billy Porter is in the red. You can see him in the bottom shot there, and two other gentlemen that I don't know who they are. And this one other gentleman, actually, that gentleman in the brown and black there, I don't know who he is, but they're all around the table. And so they've been promoting this, that, oh, William is having barbecue with friends, and this picturesque, and I didn't get a shot of the background. There's a picture of it, and maybe I should have used that picture. It's actually more beautiful because you can see the scenery and all of that stuff. And so they're promoting it as William just enjoying a relaxing day. This is the final day that they were there, whether it may have been yesterday or the day before. Finally, and he's just enjoying a barbecue until you see a video and you realize that it was all a setup. Literally, that camera you see in the last shot there, that's the cameraman who was setting it up for them to do this. And he basically was directing them. And you hear Billy Porter literally asking, and I'm going to play you the sound of Billy Porter literally asking, what do they want them to do? Like, this is just ridiculous. And how they want them to sit. So just listen. The person you hear talking, the gentleman, is Billy Porter.
Are we supposed to?
No.
How do you want it? You can do what you want. I don't want to block.
To your face. Open it up a little bit. There you go.
We're talking. Are we supposed?
And so just so you understand, I mean, I wish I could have used the video, but they were trying to position themselves, and he was saying, I don't want to block. So he was like, I don't want to block the camera so that it can't see Winnie, because he was sitting opposite Winnie. And she was like, no, just open out. And so he's like, are we supposed to be talking? And this was all a setup. It was all set up for the camera. Meanwhile, and actually the photo at the bottom was from, what is it, that guy, Scott Perry from People. And he was the same reporter from People that went with Harry and Meghan to Nigeria. So he was like, oh, Prince William catching up with Heidi Klum, Winnie Harlow, Billy Porter, and Cork at Cork Bay Harbor on November 7th. And even he made it sound like, oh, they're catching up, their friends, until you see the video and realize it was all a setup for the cameras. It wasn't any real, oh, we're just hanging out and talking, and William is like, oh, I invited Heidi along so she could understand, what we do, and she could understand about fishing. And I was like, stop lying. It's like, you invited Heidi Klum so she could understand fishing, fishing. I mean, you invited them along. It's their celebrities, so you can get attention and use them for attention, because that's the only way you can get attention. Stop lying. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. And it's just the way how they were trying to play this off as if it is just some natural thing, as some friends like just hanging out and having a barbecue. And it's just like, oh my goodness. So I'm going to look into their financials from the last year, the Earthshot Prize, and see if I can figure out how much they paid those people to appear. Because I guarantee you, Winnie Harlow, Billy Porter, and Heidi Klum did not leave their home in the U.S. Or again, I don't know where Heidi Klum lived, but I think Winnie and Billy live. Definitely, Billy is in the U.S. I seriously doubt they trekked all the way to South Africa for free. I seriously doubt that. And it's just like, are you? And again, just as Chris Ship was mentioning, he doesn't understand why they scheduled it. on the week of the, I think what is the day before the US, the day after the US election. Like, why would you do that if you want attention? And then, it's like, oh, I think it was a Telegraph wrote an article like, oh, at least I saw the headline that the election, Trump's win, stole the thunder from William. It's like, are you serious? That's like taking taking a toy from a baby, like a 1-year-old. There was no attention that William was getting. Nobody cares about Earthshot, no matter when it is. But even less so when you try to put it up against the U.S., the U.S. election, and expect, especially American, which is a lot of that he's doing, to try to get American attention. Especially when you try to do that to get American news outlets' attention, nobody cares. I mean, unless you bring People magazine along with you, which they did. But it's just, I am like, you people, this is just so sad. It is so sad. I mean, literally, they were part of the video. That this with the camera is part of the video. I just like screenshotted that part. That's the video. That's the camera they were using. It actually looks like my camera in a way. But that's the video that's the camera they were using to film this. It's just really, and there was a part of the video where you could see the guy who was directing them it's like, oh, wow, good Lord. So very, very funny. But thank you to whomever used their cell phone to capture all of this and capture this fake film, fake video thingy that they were doing, that you captured the camera, they captured the cameraman and everything. Thank you to whoever that person that did that. So yeah, but very, very interesting. Trisha like, they have to pay people to show up. Unbelievable. I know. It is crazy. I'm like, dude. Lola says Billy Porter was one of the presenters. He is in debt and needs money. He had to sell his house in California. I remember that. I think it was during the pandemic, because obviously and then there was the actor strike and all of that stuff, that he really ran into some serious issues and did have to sell his house. I mean, I'm assuming he sold, but I know he was selling his house because he didn't have the money. So yeah, Billy Porter is not going to just fund his way to South Africa for nothing. And so yeah, it just it's like, dude, unbelievable. Let's see. Joan Commonwealth said, did you see how many times the press asked the president to shake Willie's hand? Hilarious. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. I think I did an episode with that, and I am yet to drop that episode. I did a whole episode with this stuff, and for some reason, I have not dropped that episode, and maybe I will later on tonight. And that's an episode that's also part of that was talking about William the Slumlord. And as you said, I realized I never did drop that episode. So there's an extra episode that I have in my thing that I didn't drop. But yeah, it was so embarrassing because this whole thing was sold as William the statesman. He's going to South Africa. He's going to be there with David Lammy, but he is the center of whatever it is they're supposed to do with the South African president, President Ramaphosa. And so William, of course, I think it was the second day he got there, had his meeting with President Ramaphosa. And so they're in front of, I'm assuming, the president's residence. And the whole time, President Ramaphosa knew the whole, and I'm sure he knew the whole narrative, how the Kensington Palace was trying to sell William as this global statesman and all of that stuff, and how important he is. And the whole time, President Ramaphosa was just treating this whole thing as stupid as it sounds. Because he kept mocking the whole thing. He kept mocking the meeting. The press kept asking him to shake hands so they can get pictures of it. And he just was so sarcastic the whole way. And then they went inside and he's like, okay, so can we sit now? And someone in the press, she sounded British, but she could have been South African. Sometimes the accent sounds a little bit similar. And she's like, oh, can we have another shake hand? And he's like, oh yes, another handshake. It It was just so stupid. And President Ramaphosa, he totally got the message. He was just so sarcastic to the whole thing that you knew that he took none of it seriously. Absolutely none of it seriously. And it came off just as we thought it was. And I'm like, he got the assignment to make William look as stupid as we knew he would look. But it was just embarrassing. It was absolutely embarrassing. Lola Love says the Daily Fail had an article saying William was hanging out with Heidi Klum as if he and Heidi were friends. It was just a photo op. Yeah, it was just as with the president of South Africa, President Ramaphosa. It was the same thing. All of this with Heidi Klum and all of the celebrities, that they were all just for photo ops and little video clips to say, oh, I was hanging out with celebrities. That's all it was. It was just unbelievable. Karen says that the girl in the yellow dress was on the first Global Citizens in 2021. She introduced Prince Harry to the stage. Oh, I remember her. I didn't realize it was the same person. This was the one during, I think it was the one in LA, the first event that we had after COVID, or the first time we had a major event in the country after COVID was that Global Citizens concert in California at I think it was at the Staples Center or something in California, and with a lot of doctors and nurses and first responders were there, and she introduced Prince Harry. I didn't realize it was the same person. So yeah, very cool. She was actually, it's so funny. He chose someone. I mean, he's always trying to compete with Harry. It's just unbelievable. But anyways, what else is happening? Thank you, Karen, for that info. And then this, I mean, we've talked about this the last few episodes, and I still, again, have to drop that episode with Slumlord Prince William. But this, with all the stuff that's going on with, especially the dispatches, really investigative reporting about Prince William and King Charles just ripping off the British taxpayers via their, crazy rent that they're charging the NHS, just the fact that they're charging the NHS, and also and even worse, the military rent, and the amount of rent that they're charging them. It's just really a ripoff and really taking advantage again of the British taxpayers. Even though they claim like, we're not taking taxpayers' money, again, this is for the Duchy of Cornwall and the Duchy of Lancaster. They're claiming like, oh no, we don't take taxpayer money. Well, when you have contracts with the NHS that is funded by taxpayers, when you have contracts and that's $11.4 million contract where they have to pay you rent $11.4 million, you have I forgot how many millions with the military that you are the head of, that protects you and the country, and you're charging them all of this while walking around like if you have done these great things with all these medals, and still charging them all of this money that is ripping off the public, that is ripping off taxpayers. And again, even worse than that is the charities that they are patrons of, that people are donating money to, only to find out a lot of that money, millions of dollars, including cancer charities, who have had to leave the building owned by the duchy because of the crazy amount of rent that they have to pay to King Charles, who was a patron, that is a ripping off the public. And so you would think that the British press would have this all over. But when that came out, they all pressed mute. Just about every single one of them pressed mute. And even if I think there were a couple of articles in the Daily Mail and one or two in The Guardian. Even The Guardian one was written by Richard Palmer. And basically he just regurgitated what was in the Mirror and also in the Times. And he didn't add anything onto it. He did not go into any details of his thoughts or anything about that. He literally just regurgitated what he saw or what he read. And no one else, not even the BBC, not ITV, none of them did anything. the first time apparently on what is that morning show, GMB, that they mentioned anything about it was, I think, today, where what's his name, Adil Ray, when I think they were talking about William and this same thing that it's been, William apparently did an interview, I think it was Sky News or something, while he was in South Africa. And basically they asked him about the year or whatever, and he's talk about this is the hardest year of his life and it's been brutal and all of this stuff. And that's what they're talking about. And Adil Ray was the one that cut in to say, well, they, right now I think they're looking for a little bit of good publicity because going back to the dispatches investigation, that was not good. The narrative coming out of that was really hard and it was not good. And even then, the woman that was on the show with him was trying to change not even trying. She changed the subject to talk about William's beard and all. I mean, it's crazy how much they have run away from it. They've pretty much all pressed mute and will not talk about this. Even the BBC. And even as you can see at the bottom, the BBC is all joined in. They've all of a sudden, they unmuted themselves to talk about this nonsense about Prince William and his hard life. None of them would speak the truth about what Prince William and King Charles have been doing to citizens of the UK. None of them. Even the ones, even the Mirror and also the Times, they put this out, but even they have sort of run away from it, and they've more been talking about this nonsense about William and his hard life. Dispatches have been really the only one that's been constantly, putting it out there, and I finally was able to watch it a couple of days ago. It is so damning. But so, just so you know, in spite of Charles and Williams ripping off people, you're supposed to feel sorry for William because apparently, his life has been brutal. Unbelievable. So you can imagine the response to this nonsense. People are not having it, and people are now, I think dispatches said that this investigative report has been their biggest. I mean, it's in the millions of people who have watched it, and more people I know online. I mean, I don't know, because the mainstream press in the UK have not really been talking. Again, they've pressed mute pretty much. And they have not been talking about it. So I don't know how prevalent this is within communities, how much people underground are talking about it. I know people online are talking about it, but that doesn't, I don't know if it's something that people who are underground in the UK are really, or if they even know that it's there. Because that's part of the thing, to shut it down. And then this weekend is our Remembrance Weekend, and you're going to see them come out dressed in their military uniform. I think Charles, even next week, is going to be going to do something with the Navy. The same people that he's charging rent to, that's part of this documentary. And the thing about it is, the reporters who talked to William in South Africa, not one of them asked him anything about this documentary. They have not asked him anything. And they all want to be called journalists. I'm like, how could you sit there right in front of him and he's answering questions and you not bring this up? And again, access, client journalism, or lack of. They don't want to lose access. And so I mentioned listening to something from Chris Shipp, and this is the Talking Royals is the new name of the show that they are doing. Him and Lizzie, what's her name? I never remember what her last name is. And this girl, and I think that's Charlene White, I think it is, or someone else maybe. But so they were doing this, and they actually sat down with this Jack, he's from Channel 4. He was part of the team of investigative reporters who put out this documentary about King Charles and William fleecing the British public and, you know, taxpayers really. And so they talked to him, and even it's so wild because it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Even when they were talking about him, talking about it to him, they were still trying to, you know, in some places it felt like they were trying to attack him for speaking and then trying to dodge. I mean, he even asked them what, you know, he's like, well, this came out like a week and something ago. As royal reporters, why haven't you guys picked it up? And to hear them try to dodge it, I mean, even claiming, and it's the same excuse that I heard from Jenny Bond. When I think I mentioned it yesterday, there was this podcast, I think it was from a BBC radio show or whatever, asking her the same question: why haven't royal reporters picked up the story? And her thing was, oh well, because there were so many other headlines out there. Maybe it wasn't just the right time to put it out because so many other headlines, it drowned it out. And so Lizzie in this podcast was trying to say the same thing. And she was like, yeah, because there were so many other headlines, it drowned it out. And even Chris Shipp asked her, he's like, well, what other headlines were there? And she couldn't name one. She could not name one. And he even said, even though Chris Shipp is, you know, he was trying to dodge and trying to make excuses at the beginning for the royals, he was even saying, you know, if this was Harry and Meghan, what would the coverage in the Daily Mail be? And not just the Daily Mail, you know, he used the Daily Mail, but it's like the rest of the press. What would the coverage be if that stuff was Harry and Meghan? Because even he knows, and I'm glad that Channel 4, they're asking that question. Why haven't the royal reporters picked it up? Why haven't they, especially the ones who cover the Daily Mail, I mean, the royal family, day in, day out, why haven't they picked it up? And Chris Shipp is, you know, even though he was asking that, you know, why, he was even trying to say, well, you know, you have to do, if you ask it, you're going to get like a firm tap on the shoulder from one of their handlers and all of that stuff. So that, you know, basically they don't want to run afoul of Prince William's team. So they won't ask the tough questions. So they're right now trying to write it off as, oh, because there were so many other news headlines that day or that weekend, which last weekend, there were so many other headlines, yet they can't name one headline that would have been more important than that headline about Charles and William fleecing the British taxpayers. So right now, that's what they're doing. They're just making excuses. Because we all know if this was Harry and Meghan, I mean, look at when Harry and Meghan, they didn't even land back in California after the Nigeria trip. They did not even land back here. When that whole snafu with the office of, you know, those people with their nonprofit, when they made a clerical error, these reporters, especially from the UK, because that story started in the UK, they just pounced on that thing like animals and were shredding Archewell to pieces. Even the governor had to come out and be like, look, this was a clerical error. And I hope that you guys, the same people who were trashing Archewell, would then go and correct what they were saying. None of them did. Yet you have this whole people literally robbing your readers. The people that are reading your own news outlet, they're literally robbing them, and you press mute. It is unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. And again, I would hope that the British people at some point would get the full account of all of this and would really, I mean, this would be a good weekend to protest. And then, yes, I know you want to be respectful to the military and veterans. But there's the same military that they are robbing. They are, I mean, you could say, okay, well, fine. They are landowners. They are allowed to rent stuff out. They're allowed to rent stuff to the NHS. They're allowed to rent stuff to the to the military, whatever, and all of these other places. Then why aren't they paying taxes on that, on the money that they take in? They are paying no taxes. So they're just collecting taxpayer funds and they're paying no taxes on their income. And they're like, oh, but they pay taxes. No. What they do is they deduct all of these things that they claim are expenses. Nobody knows what they are, and they set the rules on what those things are. There is no kind of openness about what they're deducting and why they're deducting it, and if that should be deducted. Not. There is no openness about any of those things. And whatever is left over is what they claim to pay taxes on, but nobody knows exactly how much taxes they pay. They don't know. And so apparently Prince Charles, when he was the head of the Duchy of Cornwall, used to put it, he put out his financials there. But again, they don't tell you what it is was deducted. They just pay on the little that's left over. They claim, oh, well, we're paying taxes on that. But you don't know what the full income was. And so, but William has taken over the Duchy of Cornwall in the last few years. He refuses to disclose anything because apparently he doesn't have to, so he doesn't. And it's like, why is this allowed to go on? Because people like Chris Ship and Lizzie What's-Her-Face refuse to be journalists. They want to be called journalists, but they refuse to ask the tough questions. They refuse to do the job of a journalist. And they get upset when we call them paid palace PR. But that's what they are. They're simply paid palace PR. They should be running with this story. They should be the one talking about this and investigating and asking the tough question. They refuse to do it. Even when Channel 4 has given them all the tools that they need, they refuse to do it. Unbelievable. Let's see. Just jump in the chat for a bit. Karen Warner says, people tell William to go home and know William is undermining his brother in everything he is doing. Well, at least he's trying. Yeah, I saw that there was like this one protest. I mean, there might have been more. I just saw that one lady was screaming at him. So yeah, unbelievable. Let's see. Karen says, William is trying to play with the public emotions again about his hard year. He only had one hard year. People have every year, and no one listens to them. Bye, William. No sympathy. And again, they use stuff like this to distract and to get in sympathy. Is this whole, I am sick, I have this, I have this, I have this. At this point with Camilla, they've claimed that she has some kind of chest infection or whatever. At this point, if I see, Camilla is in the hospital for an overnight stay or whatever, I would not be shocked. Because again, a lot more people are upset because of this documentary, and they need to be in everyone's favor. And so if I see that, I would not be shocked at all. Unbelievable. And it's just so shameless that they would do stuff like this. But I guess they know that they can get away with it. So yeah. Sharpie 205 says they will never hold that family accountable. No, they won't. No, they won't. Because it's like, well, if I hold them accountable, I may not have a job. So yeah. Karen says they paid nothing. Charles saying he paid taxes is to patronize and silence the people. Yeah, he claimed to pay taxes, and the Queen claimed that she paid taxes, but nobody knew. Nobody knows exactly how much they pay. No one knows. So it's basically, well, take my word for it. And people have just taken their word for it. Even members of parliament for over the years, since I think 2015, or is it 2005, something like that, they were trying to get these documents from the royal family, and they have been rebuffed every time. These are elected officials. For those people who claim that the royal family have no power, that they're only just symbolic and they're just a symbolic figurehead, they have no power. Well, if you're able to defy elected officials, government officials, when they want something from you, and yet still keep the sovereign grant, still keep the Duchy of Cornwall, still keep the Duchy of Lancaster, you have power. And not only that, you have, those exemptions that you could do. And those consents, the king's consent and all of those things. When you have stuff like that, you can't then go around and tell people like, oh no, we're just symbolic. We don't have no power. We serve at the request of the prime minister. Nonsense. Nonsense. Unbelievable. What else are you guys saying? Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator, says the racist unroyal reporters are silent about the investigative report, yet they relentlessly attack the Sussexes, particularly Meghan. That ungodly family needs to be dragged nonstop on social media. They are being dragged. They're being dragged, but not enough. Not enough. And even when, a reporter would say something, it's just so tepid. I mean, I'm going back to this podcast. It was so tepid in their response or their reaction to it. And I thought it was the majority of it, it felt like trying to excuse their behavior. It's like, I'm going to talk about it because I want to sound or act as if I'm a journalist, but I don't really want to because I don't want to lose access. Unbelievable. Let's see what else you guys are saying. So change the subject a little bit now. Church Lady, I'm really happy you're feeling fine. Tired, but I'm so happy you're feeling fine. That was a big concern. I just wanted to know how you were feeling, so I'm glad. And she says, just finished first cancer infusion therapy. Wow. I don't know what that is, but I'm glad you're feeling fine. So that's good. If you want to explain, that's fine too. But if you don't, I totally understand. I know I pry. So you don't have to if you don't want to. So yeah. Let's see. Karen says it got almost 1 million views on YouTube as of 2 days ago. It is social media that made it international. That's not counting Channel 4 dispatches. That's great. That is fantastic. That people are watching it. And I hope, again, you never know, people around the world sometimes seem a lot more passionate. And I always think, like, why am I more passionate about this than many Brits who are just literally apathetic? They're just like, whatever, moving on. They don't care, it seems. And so I hope in those millions that people from at least the majority of people from the UK, that they're seeing and understanding what this family is doing. And I think for me too, it's just the enormity of it is just so much. They have so much. Like, why do rich people just rip people off who can't afford things? It's like they just take and take and take and take and take. They just take. And it's just unbelievable. So anyways, let's see. A couple more. Oh, you too, Gwen. Thank you for coming by. You have a great day too. Let's see. Anyone else before we end? I think that's it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I think that's all. Oh, wait, one more thing. I forgot I had this there. One more thing. Invictus Games. Obviously, this weekend we're celebrating remember, I keep saying Memorial, Remembrance Day in the UK and Veterans Day here in the US and I guess Canada as well. Invictus Game says on National Indigenous Veterans Day, we honor the bravery, sacrifice, and resilience of Indigenous veterans who have served and continue to serve our country. Their contributions are a vital part of Canada's military history, and today we pay tribute to their strength and courage. As we move towards Invictus Vancouver Whistler 2025, we are deeply committed to the ongoing journey of reconciliation. We are proud to partner with the four host First Nations, Mequin, Squamish, I don't know how to say the first thing, Watooth, and Lilwat, to ensure that Indigenous cultures and values are woven into the very fabric of the Games. Together, we honor the spirit of healing, inclusion, and respect for all. And so today is Veterans Day there. So yes, thank you to our incredible men and women who have sacrificed so much for freedoms. So thank you. So that is Invictus again, coming up in February. The Games. Hope you are excited. I am very excited to be going to the Games. So thank you to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly. Lydia wasn't here today, but Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Black Queen. Thank you so much for making our space safe. Thank you so much to our awesome 2 cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. I do need to add some names to this. And so thank you guys so much for your support in every way. I really, really, really appreciate it, and appreciate you guys for hanging out with me for the last hour. So anyway, guys, have a great day. I love you all, and I will chat with you next time. Bye.